I'm Matthew Palmer and my new book, The Watercolour Companion, is a hardback reference guide that you keep by your side at all time. The perfect size to fit in your watercolour kit. It's got pages of colour mixes, it's got reference images to work from, it's got what materials you need, how to paint finished pictures. This indispensable guide is designed to be by your side at all times on your watercolour journey. The book is available now. So yes, The Watercolour Companion is a brand new book that I've been working on for the past 2 years. I've got a copy here and I want to show you this book before we start doing any painting. I want to put the overhead camera on. Here it is. This is The Watercolour Companion. Now, we do also have a DVD that goes along with this, and the links are in the description below for this post, so do check it out. Let's move a little bit closer in, shall we, so we can see what's happening here. So, I've wrote 8 books with Search Press. This one is the first time I've done a hardback book, so a very special thing off the bat. But what's interesting about this book is it's designed to be your companion. It's designed to be your watercolour guardian angel. So this is by your side at all times. So it's a lay flat hardback book with an elasticated bind, so it's got that proper sketchbook feel to it. Most books I've wrote have been very much how to paint a picture. This is how to paint the individual elements from a picture. So what you've got is all these essential tips and tricks. If we open the book up here, for example, this section talks about what paper, the differences between the different papers that you can purchase. Here, this is about painting evening skies. So it's very much a hands-on visual guide to watercolour painting. That's exactly what this is. You've got these colour mixers, and these colour mixers are pretty much on every page, and these are very special because what these are clever, because what you've got here, for example, on this page you've got a section here on painting spring foliage, and right on the edge is the colour mixers. Now you can use this in 2 or 3 ways. First of all, if you've got a photograph like this one here, you can look at it and you say, well, what colour would this green be here? And you can use it as a way to sort of get that perfect colour. So that's one way to use. You can see that works nice for this kind of mid-tone green here. So that's one way to use the book. It's a way of making sure you get that perfect colour mix. Secondly, you can literally hold this thing up. You can hold it up against the view in front of you, close one eye, and you can do the old sort of squint, and you can say, actually, that's the perfect green. And of course, it gives you the recipe for the green as well. It gives you the formula for the green paint. So here you've got a mid green, here you've got a light green, and you've got a shadow green. But why have you got this circle? Well, the circle is basically how much yellow versus how much blue. So it really breaks it down in lovely detail for you. Why have you got this darker version of the same colour inside? Well, what you've got here is the colour when it's wet in the palette. Then this is the colour when it's dry. So we've really thought about this, and a big shout out to all the guys at Search Press for producing such a wonderful product. This book is available. You can buy it from the SAA, and you can also buy it with a DVD as well. It's got lots and lots of techniques, loads of colour mixes. It's very visual, how to paint branches, how to paint buildings. You've got stonework here, you've got doorways, you've got seascape techniques, you've got the perfect mixes for your seascapes there. You've got how to do reflections. It really is rammed, and it comes with a picture finder. So just to finish things up, at the back of the book here, sneaking in here is a picture finder. If we carefully open this, you've got a little Brucey bonus tucked away at the back, and what this is a picture finder which you can use in several ways. The picture finder's got rulers, centimetres and inches. It's got a tonal finder, so you can isolate a tone as well. And the picture finder is very useful for doing this kind of stuff. You can hold it up and you can say, actually, yeah, close one eye, look at it and say, you know what, that's the perfect picture. Let me show you that side. You can see all the information on it. It is included in the book. That's a great tool. I spend a lot of time working outside with groups teaching painting holidays, and having something like this is a great way to sort of look at this massive scene in front of you and get the perfect composition. That's what the Watercolour Companion is. It's designed to be by your side whenever you need it, and it's a great little thing, so do make sure you check it out. Now, as well as the book, there's also a book and DVD. And just while I prep a few bits for this demonstration, do stick around, by the way, just have a quick look at this little bit of an advert that talks about the DVD and book. Remember, the links are in the description to get hold of both. Hello there, my name is Matthew Palmer and welcome to this film which is designed to accompany my book, The Watercolour Companion, your essential guide to watercolour tips, tricks and techniques. The film will go through how to paint beautiful skies, wonderful trees of all seasons, colour mixing, perspective and a beautiful landscape scene. The book and DVD are available now from the SAA website. So you can see there what a great thing it is. Now, I'm ready to get started. So what I want to do for you now over the next kind of 30 minutes or so, I want to take some of the tips out of the book and I want to put them into practice in a watercolour picture. So let's get started. We'll shoot over to the palette and we'll talk a little bit about all the colours and everything that we've got. You can do this painting with primary colours if you wish. It doesn't really matter necessarily if you have my own brand of paints or you have primary colours. Anything goes really, if we're being honest. So a quick shoot over to the palette, or should I say the paper. I've got a sheet of, it's live. I've got a sheet of quarter imperial watercolour paper here which I've stuck to a board. This is my own paper, Matthew Palmer watercolour paper. It's ready to do a painting on. It's stuck to a board. I've got a slight tilt on it, so that's all set. Let's go to the palette. There's the palette right there. What we've got here is all the colours. We've got natural green light and we've got natural orange, natural grey, natural green, but I've got all my natural colours squirted into palette. It really doesn't matter if you don't have these colours, you can still produce a beautiful watercolour picture by following along. But remember, this is a demonstration, so it's going to be pretty quick. It's going to be a fairly swift process, is this watercolour demo. So the first thing I want to do is I want to take a piece of masking tape, remove stickiness. It's pretty warm today, so that's easy done. Pop this about a third of the way up. I think about there should do the trick. So we've protected the top from the bottom. That's about a third, give or take. It's not going to be exact, but it's, you know, it's kind of a third-ish. And then I want to take a large brush. The brush I'm using is a Matthew Palmer Super Point brush. Again, you can check out all these online. Head them over to the SAA. You can get them all from there. We're going to put the water on. Put a nice coverage. I'm wetting the paper, so this is a cotton paper here, so it's really going to hold the water. The book will talk you through how to do simple skies, the right brushes to choose. It's all about companionship, having that reference book, that recipe book by your side at all times. That's what the watercolour companion is. So I want to go for quite a dramatic sky because I'm a bit of a dramatic kind of guy. Or not even. The first thing I want to do is I want to take some light skin tone. So there's two skin tones here. This particular one is light skin tone. So there's a light, there's a dark. And I just want to sweep this in, coming down. Nice warm base. It's always good to put some warmth in the base of your sky. Now that light will stop reflecting when we get into the painting. So I want to go for dramatic pictures here today. Again, I'm taking all the techniques from the watercolour companion, so you'll see a lot of these in action in the book. We're going to take some violet. This is natural violet. Again, if you want to know more on colour mixing, the book talks about colour mixing in ridiculous levels of detail. That to me was quite key because colour mixing is quite an important thing. But here I'm using my own brand of paints which are developed in conjunction with the SAA. So there we have a bit of a sky, straight in, nice and easy, beautiful angle to this, but I want to go dark, I want to get more drama in this, that's what it's all about. So I'm going to be using some grey paint. Natural grey is such a game changer in the watercolour world because it's the colour of shadows. It's ready-made grey. It's important not to use Payne's grey. Payne's grey is way too strong. It's like putting pure black on your picture, which is never good, especially for things like this. So I'm going quite dark. I'm going dark. Bit of Derbyshire sneaking out there. I'm going dark. I'm going. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring in some clouds. I'm using a large Matthew Palmer Super Point brush. These are beautiful tools. Have a look at these online as well. Let's bring in some cloudy stuff here. Twisting the brush. Quite new brushes these. They've not been around that long, so do have a look at them. little bit of a roll. It's just nice having brushes that you can go from a thick to thin with. So a nice little scribble of cloud coming down there. Beautiful. I'm excited for you if you're watching this. I like watching paint drying. What we're going to do here, what we're going to do is bring in a bit of shadow to this top section here. Get some lovely drama. Now I'm making this a pretty quick picture here today, folks, because it is watching paint dry after all. Yes, we'll soften these in. Don't you worry. Trust me, I'm an artist. Let's bring in a bit of cloud down here, shall we? We'll soften all this in. Some low-lying cloud. A dramatic seascape, a stormy sky. Apparently it's forecast some thunderstorms today, which is good because we're ready for a bit of rain, aren't we? I forgot what rain is. Lovely darkness. Now we're going to soften all this in here today. We're going to clean the brush really well. Squeeze it through the fingers. So I'm actually working just to the side here. And I'm going to use this brush just to soften away any hard bits I'm not keen on. So like here, for example, squeeze the brush, you just blend it out. Simple as that really for the sky. So Watercolour Companion will go through all the common sky types, stormy, cloudy, clean, simple skies, right through to the evening sunsets as well. So imagine that you sat doing your own paintings and you think, oh, how would Matthew do that sky? Ah, I've got his companion, I'll whip it out and have a look. That's basically what it is. It's a little hardback book. It's kind of pocket size. And it's a great price as well. Less than £10, so it's a really good price. And the brand new DVD, which we've filmed exclusively for it as well, is available. All the links are in the description, so if you do want to check this out, do have a moment to have a look online at it. Pop that in there. Beautiful, beautiful little, isn't that nice? Little stormy sky, nice and soft with the colours. So at this particular point, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking away the masking tape, very steady, nice and slowly. Now that background is still quite wet, but that's okay. We'll give that a few seconds to dry and we'll work on the bottom section. We're going to put some water down here now. So for this, I'm going to be using the same brush, at least to start with. Bit of water and very, very simply going to wet the section. And we're going to paint the sea. So you can't beat a bit of wet water, so a couple of coats of water is going to go on here. And what colours are we going to use? Well, pretty much the same colours that we've been using throughout. So we'll start with the light skin tone, which is a lovely colour, and that's just going to put some warmth into the sky, into the water, reflecting. Yeah, you need to reflect what's above. Then we've got the violet, of course, which we used quite a lot. That goes right to the bottom. Now I am going to sneak in some turquoise here. We've got a beautiful colour, which is ideal for seascapes, and it's simply called natural turquoise. Natural tortoise is beautiful for this. We'll bring that in. So that's given us the starting point. Notice the nice horizontal lines that we've added. Let's get back to the palette. What we'll do here is we'll clean the brush really well, get all the violet out of it, and let's go for some natural turquoise, which is a colour what is designed for the sea. It's basically a seascape colour, and a little bit goes a long way with that. It's a lovely colour. The book will show you how to mix these colours. It's an important part of what's in there, but you can see I'm just glazing over, skimming over the surface. That's what a glaze is. Mixing with the violet just to add that little bit of a turquoise tinge to the water there. Beautiful, simple horizontal lines. Isn't that nice, that little bit of turquoise just kind of glowing through. Now that realistically needs a little bit of time to dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a hairdryer, which I'm going to lean over and grab. It's a bit, not very good. It's a bit of a distance. It's this heat gun. Now, if I turn this on, the microphone thinks it's background noise, so it cuts it out. So I am going to dry this off, and I'm going to show you a little video again, just telling you a little bit more about what the Watercolour Companion is. 2.5 years of work have gone into this. Check it out. Hi, I'm Matthew Palmer, and my new book, The Watercolour Companion, is a hardback reference guide that you keep by your side at all time. The perfect size to fit in your watercolour kit. It's got pages of colour mixers, it's got reference images to work from, it's got what materials you need, how to paint finished pictures. This indispensable guide is designed to be by your side at all times on your watercolour journey. There you go, that's just about dry. Just a heat gun basically, but the microphones go quiet at that point, so it doesn't really, you know, come across too well on a live stream. Thanks for taking some time out, folks, to watch paint dry again. I'm just going to give it one more blast, it's a bit damp still. Let's watch paint dry together. That ought to do the trick. Excuse me, it is nice and dry. So that, yes, that's it. That's the Watercolour Companion. Do check it out. And don't forget you can get hold of a brand new DVD to go with it as well, which is available through the SAA. All the links are below the video in the old description in the post, so you can check that out. So it's dry at this point. More masking tape, long enough to go across. Remove the stickiness. Pop that there, son. Let's pop some cliffs on this thing, and I want to show you one of the techniques. If I just flick through the book very quickly here, while that is, it's a little bit damp if I'm honest. Sign of good paper, hardback book. If you have a quick flick through it, you can see how much of a visual guide the book actually is. It's about, you know, it's got sections on drawing animals in there as well. The right colour mixes, look how to mix perfect skin tones. How to do boats, how to do reflections. Here we've got a section on the beach, the right colours for the sea. Beautiful seascape section here. And some wonderful tips and tricks. It is 100, I'm checking because I'm not quite sure. It's 129 pages, plus you get the picture finder. And that's what the Watercolour Companion is. It's a lovely little reference guide. It's not a how to paint this picture, it's a how to add to your picture, how to improve, how to make them more interesting. That's what it is. This is one of the techniques from the book I'm going to show you now, and I'm going to jump straight in with a size 10 brush here. I'm painting some cliffs on this picture. We'll start with this grey, because natural grey is such a game changer. If you've not got natural grey, of course you can pick the colours up online, or you can just mix your own. And again, the companion shows you how to mix your own versions of these colours. So I want to play around with some colours here. And we're going to start off, actually, I'm just going to pop a little bit, just briefly, just going to pop a little bit of tape just there, just for the minute. You'll see where I'm going with this, hopefully. And let's just pop in a bit of a distant sort of cliff here. I want to mist that into the picture. Clean brush, a couple of taps on kitchen paper. And I'm just going to use a bit of water to blend that in. While I'm doing this, if you do like my kind of painting, folks, I do teach regular virtual workshops. There was one yesterday, actually, which was the 4th of September, which was a Beatrix Potter's Cottage watercolour. So if you'd like to have a look at those, have a look on my website, which is all the w's.watercolour.tv, teaching direct to your house. That's what they are. Virtual workshops. Lovely way to learn. Take that off. And what we'll do there is pop in some little reflections. I'm using a size 10 or a medium super point at this point, okay? No pun intended. Just popping a few horizontal lines there, just to say that's going to reflect. So that'll give a hint of reflection just there. But now we're going to do some large cliffs, still using the grey, but thicker in consistency. And yes, I will bring some other colours into play with this, so do stick with me here. What masking tape I'm using? This is just a good quality brown masking tape. Watch out for using framers tape, a little bit strong. So just be a little bit cautious on framing tape. Now this is going to go up here. And it's going to be quite steep, to be fair. Now, at the minute I've just got grey on the brush, but I'm going to play around with some of the colours. Don't worry. You can trust me. In fact, you know what I want to do here? I'll step that down a bit. There we go. You'll see why I've done a step a little bit later. So at the minute that's all very grey. 50 Shades of Grey, but I want to bring in some other paint, some other colours. I'm using my natural range of paints. I've used light skin tone. I'm now using dark skin tone. That sort of lovely tan colour, beautiful. Look, I'm mixing it on the page here. So I'm mixing it with the grey, so I'm revisiting all of this. Now, this is a very quick watercolour, just to illustrate some of the techniques of the new book. But remember, if you want some more in-depth tuition, that's where those virtual workshops come up. There's one coming up on the 11th of September 2022. And that's going to be an autumnal woodland, so do make sure you get yourself booked in. All the information is on my website for that. So we'll bring that in. So I've got green in there, in case you missed it. Very big chunk of paint going on here. This is a lot of colour. So now, you've never seen cliffs being a big block of paint, have you? Well, I want to put some light and shade into these now, very, very quickly. Just a few little spots and dots on the top here to represent a little bit of sort of foliage, something on the edge of the cliff. You always see a little bit, don't you? There you go. Just want to make sure that's all fresh paint. How do you make sure it's fresh? Well, you can clean your brush and you can reactivate it quite easily by glazing over. Something like that. And then, one of the techniques from the book is a plastic card to add some lovely texture. So I'm actually scraping out here from these areas. Look how the skin tone and the green are leaving a residue. They've stained the page, which is beautiful. Look how nice that is. What a lovely effect. Right from this edge here, look. Now, it doesn't matter if paint seeps at the back of the tape. If anything, it helps the reflection. So that's pretty much inevitable that that happens. So a very quick way of doing cliffs and rocks. But of course, it only works while the paint is damp. And that's what's really nice about that. You need that sort of damp paint to make it work. So it's a really nice effect, and one you should have a little bit of a dabble at, if we're being honest. Have a little bit of a trial at it and see how you go with it. It's a nice one to try. What we'll do now is we'll remove the tape, very carefully, of course. Now, keep an eye on the back of the tape. If you see little bits of white, then you know you've gone a bit dark and you've started to get a bit of a rip coming through, so just watch out for that. But a fail-safe way of actually creating the effect with the tape and it not ripping is to use a hairdryer to heat up the glue as you peel it off. Look at that, you've ruined it. I love the distance we've got there. It's nice. I want to put some reflection here, and then we're going to put a boat on. Again, another technique from the Watercolour Companion. So what we've got in the palette is pretty much all the colours we need, to be fair. I'm using natural grey. It's been around since 2008. As a guess, natural grey. It's a very well established colour, very well used by thousands and thousands of artists because it's a beautiful shadow colour. Horizontal lines using the new medium super point brush here, just glazing across horizontally. If you've just got a spare half an hour, spare hour floating around in your day, why not re-watch this demo, have a go yourself? All you want is just a few colours, bit of paper, and just enjoy it. There's no sketching here, it's just a nice relaxed watercolour demonstration. Check it out. Some nice horizontal lines. I can hide the blob. You can probably see I'm getting a bit of a dry brush effect here. The reason for that is because I gave my brush a sneaky tap on kitchen paper while you weren't watching, but look at that. I just love the colours. I love the turquoise, love the violet. Those two colours work really well together. Natural violet, natural turquoise. And that green just glows through, don't it? Beautiful. I've got goosebumps, look at it. Just talking about it. Sad but true, Mr. Palmer, sad but true. There we go, beautiful. Look at that. That lovely reflection. The sea there, the calming sea, the moonlit night. Love it. Really enjoying this picture. Hope you are enjoying watching it too. Can't go wrong. Okay, let's come back to the palette then. We've now moved over to the star of the Super Point brushes, which is the small Super Point one. This is a belter of a brush. It is. And I'm using dark skin with grey. So I'm mixing the two together. Reason being because that's what we've got on the page, if you think about it. Around here, we can get a bit closer in on this, so you can see what's happening close up and personal. And we're going to be using this point just to add a bit more of a edge to the cliffs, just to create even more reflections. You don't really get much reflection on the sea, but a little hint of reflection is quite nice. Loving the mist, that separation there is beautiful, really nice. So we can just spend a little bit more time just adding a bit more clarity to this. We can even rework the rocks if we feel we need to go darker in there. Get some more shadows. It's all good stuff in it. You can smell the fear. Let's bring this down. Notice the series of horizontal lines. So if you sat down with a blank piece of paper and think, you know what, I want to do a Palmer picture, but how would he paint his rocks? Well, you'd whip your companion out, as you say, and you'd have a flick through, and there's a section on doing the rocks in there. And that's just one of the hundreds of little techniques that this book has to offer. Remember that you do get the picture finder as well, which is sneaking away at the back, all for less than £10, and you also get the option of picking it up with a DVD as well, which is lovely. And again, all the links are in the description. And the DVD's got different content to what's in the book as well. It's a brand new for 2022 DVD, so well worth checking out. I love that, how you can just create a very simple reflection with a few brush strokes. Now what we'll do here is we'll come back to the size 10. I'm going to dilute that colour a little bit, wipe it on the side. So that's still the grey with the dark skin. You can see it's got that little warmer tone to the grey. So it's probably about half the consistency of what it was when we started. And very simply what we're going to do on the picture now is add some little bit of movement, little bits of shadow in the water. Just in this corner here. Sweep it across horizontally. Notice the brushes ran out of colour already. For me on this picture, it's quite key to get darkness here for balance. So that's quite important, that little bit of balance. So really worth the effort. Leaving some light in the middle is a really good way to have some depth, some space to the picture. That works lovely, don't it? That little bit of depth and space created in the foreground. So if you're new to painting, this is a great little tutorial actually, because just a few colours, no sketching, and you'll create a picture and learn some wonderful techniques. This is just a taster of what watercolour is, and a taster of the new book. There we go. Lots of horizontal lines. I want to dry the brush off. It's still got some paint on, but I want to dry it off pretty much full on here. Make the brush go a little bit flat as well. And in this middle area, we're just going to light this skim just to take off the flatness of the water. So you've got that lovely texture. And look at this shaft of light coming down here. It almost makes me want to put the moon in. Now there's an idea. There is an idea. Let's come back. And just want to make sure things are quite dark along the bottom of this cliff here. So I've just basically picked up the size 6 brush and put some grey on there. Using a little hint of water, you can just add a little bit of blend into that area. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now that needs another wee little dry, so do stick with me. Again, if you've just joined us, thank you for joining. Do make sure you check out all the links in the description. Get hold of a copy of this brand new book here, my watercolour companion. Lots of hard work's gone into it. Again, let me show you a little video just while this dries of what the watercolour companion is all about. Check it out. I'm Matthew Palmer, and my new book, The Watercolour Companion, is a hardback reference guide that you keep by your side at all time. The perfect size to fit in your watercolour kit. It's got pages of colour mixes, it's got reference images to work from, it's got what materials you need, how to paint finished pictures. This indispensable guide is designed to be by your side at all times on your watercolour journey. The book is available now on the SIA website. There you go, so that's it basically. That shows you a little glimpse of what it's all about. 129 pages of watercolour goodness. Back to this, it's pretty much dry at this point, and if that was the way it was to walk away, you've got a nice watercolour picture right here with lots of atmosphere. But we're going to take this thing a little bit further. We're going to put a boat on here. I think that'll just give it a nice bit of a finishing touch. So let me get close into this and show you how to paint a boat. Again, another glimpse of one of the many techniques from the companion. I'm using natural grey for this, a strong natural grey. I'm going to pop a little bit of that skin tone in just to give it a bit of warmth, not much, just a sniffing, smidgen is what I meant to say, but I like a sniffing. Can't beat a good sniffing. Anyway, let's pop a little boat here. We start off by popping in a figure of 8 or an infinity sign, which is the back, which is the front. That's, or the bow and the stern, should I say. That's going to be the bow, and then we're going to bring that down here, pop a little bit of shape to the boat. Now I'm whizzing over this very quickly with it being a demo, but having a printed book in front of you, just copy what you see. So this technique is from the book. Clean the brush, wipe it dry a few times, and then use a bit of water just to soften it in. Blend that line away. So you've got your main hull of your boat there, basically. There it is. So you can see that sort of classic sort of shape, if you like, to that boat. While that's drying off a sec, I'm just going to pop in a little hint of a reflection to that. Just a few little horizontal lines, say it's reflecting. There we go. And then I imagine this thing's moored up, so we'll pop in a little bit of the reflection as well. So that's just a little bit of a rope there. It just kind of sits it in place. It gives the picture some scale, don't it, when you bring something like a boat into it. Nice easy way to do it as well. I mean, obviously you can go right in and put as much detail as you like on this. What I'm doing here is just making sure I've got a very pointy brush here, and popping my Rolex on, beg your pardon, and a few little, I get banned from Facebook, pop a few little bits of, I'm sure it's a Rolex, isn't it? It is a Rolex. Is it a Rolex? Let's put the mast on. Natural grey on the edge of the card. Probably going to do about 2/3 of the card here. Take that and we'll pop that probably about here. Press it down really well. Look at that. Oh, that's good. I'm right chuffed for you. It's a little dingy. I'll pop another one of those on. Ooh, let's pop another one of those on. He's nuts, this guy, isn't he? Nuts. Let's do this one a bit smaller. Ooh, crazy. Right, let's reflect it, shall we? You'd better. You'd better. Look at that. Little boat. Alan and the Pussycat went to sea. Beautiful, beautiful. Now I'm using this brush here. Now it is a super point brush, which means it's got a super point on it. Would you Adam and Eve it? Now what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to use the brush to put some rigging on. little flicks that just, let me get closer, closer, get closer, get closer. Is that better? Now what we've got is a little bit of a, look at that, it's just a nice little boat, just happy, relaxing, moored up, no stress, not stressing about anything, just relaxing in ocean. I like that, just nice little bit of detail. I'm just going to shoot to the top of here just to add a bit of foliage. And actually I've got a tree and texture brush, a medium one or a small one, wouldn't really matter. I want to use natural green, which is one of the 2 ready-made green colours that you can get online. Beautiful natural green. Dipple your brush. Just feel like I want to do a little bit more on the edge, just to say there's a bit of scale. A little bit of foliage up there. Doesn't really have to be anything fancy here. Don't worry, it won't be. Just a little bit of foliage, just to sort of creep up there. It just helps to sort of balance the picture with the 2 areas. And I am going to come back to the number 6 brush here. Colour, I'm going to be using the grey. Dry it, so I've removed some of it. Even give it a bit of a pinch just to create some texture. Add a bit of texture to your rocks. Now, if you're new to me, folks, if you don't know who Mr. Palmer is, do make sure you head on over to the Facebook page. My Facebook page is Matthew Palmer Artist, and it's a great place to see what I'm up to, so make sure you follow. We've also got a wonderful watercolour group called Matthew Palmer's Watercolour Group. Just do a search on Facebook, and it's a great place to share these techniques, have a look at what other people are doing, learn about virtual workshops, loads of demos on there as well. So if you are new to the Facebook page World of Matthew Palmer, do make sure you check me out on Facebook. There's lots of stuff. There's also a lovely YouTube channel which is just Matthew Palmer. Make sure you subscribe. Loads of free content and demos on there. And of course, don't forget to check out the SAA if you'd like to get hold of a wonderful join-in SAA offer. Be part of the biggest art group in the world. You've got the perfect chance to join the SAA. Just drop onto their website, saa.co.uk, and just have a look at the membership offers that are available. Being part of the SAA is all about keeping the paint flowing. That's what their mission is in life. I've personally been a member of the SAA since I started painting way back in this sort of early to mid 1990s. So I've been a member since about 93, is a rough kind of guess. Love that boat. Ooh. Just something nice about all the colours on this picture. They're gelled together. It's made a wonderful little watercolour, I think. Let's have a look at it. Let's look at that beautiful mist at the back there. Zooming back here. The rocks and the colours, the turquoise, the violet, all made a beautiful atmospheric watercolour picture. There's just one thing I want to do on this picture, and that is actually to use a craft knife. I do like to add a bit of light to water, so we'll come back in here and we're going to use this knife just to scrape away white, especially around the base of those rocks. It's a little bit damp there, so I'm going to give it a quick dry. Yep, there we go. There's a quick dry on it. Just to add a bit of texture. And if I get even closer into that, you can actually see I want to dig and flick this knife. Again, another technique from the book, just to show you that the water is sort of crashing against like you would imagine it to be. And literally I am using a knife and I am cutting the paper. And honestly, don't be afraid. I've been scraping my pictures for 30 years.
30 years I've been scraping my pictures, man and boy. Just gives a lovely finishing touch to the water and that little bit of sparkle, which we all like in his life. You know what? I want to get this mounted. You can't beat a good mount. Let's come back. It's filth, this demonstration, pure filth. Let's pop that there. Let's get a mount on this before it's too late. Now what we've got here, come back a little bit more. We've got the mount, which is going to go on. That makes a lovely watercolour picture. Look at the atmosphere. What a pleasing picture that was to do. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, remember, check out the new watercolour companion. You can see it here. We've got a copy right there. There it is. Hello, sneaking at the back. Do check it out, folks. It's a wonderful little tool to enjoy, and it is designed to be by your side. And that picture there was just a taster of what this watercolour companion is all about. Thank you for watching. Give it a go. Make sure you have a look on the Facebook page, and also make sure you stick around on my Facebook page tomorrow, Matthew Palmer Artist, because there's another live demonstration coming up at 12:30 tomorrow on my Facebook page, Matthew Palmer Artist. A different picture for you to enjoy. Thank you very much. Thanks to everybody at the SAA.